But I always tell people, okay, what are the two most important things you need to do daily to move your business forward? And put that in your schedule every day and don't move it. If you can do those two things every day consistently, and that's the key. If people don't do things consistently, it's not done well.
Welcome to Women's Thrive Podcast. This is where you'll get to hear incredible stories of female entrepreneurs, business owners, women from all walks of life. Myself, Raymond Jan, and my co-host Abigail will be interviewing incredible women, hearing inspiring stories of women from all around the world. I have no doubt that you will find something that will be life-changing for you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and join us for our future episodes. Hello, and welcome to today's podcast. My name is Ramonda Jan, and I will be your host for today's show. I'm looking forward to interviewing our lovely guest today, Becca Goldsberry. Hi, Becca. How are you? Where are you joining from?
I am amazing, and I am joining from Indianapolis, Indiana, over here in the States.
I love it. Amazing. We're going to have a great conversation today. Now, this conversation is really for leaders, entrepreneurs, those who are perhaps managing teams or their businesses. You might be struggling with your time management. You might be thinking about growing your business right now, and it kind of feels alone in your struggles. And I get it. Becca certainly gets it. We've been in business and entrepreneurship for quite some time now. I think today's conversation is really about uncovering where is it that we need to ask for more help. Because let's face it, we're not pillars that needs to hold everything up. And there's a way of doing it better. Now, let's dive into this conversation with my guest today, Becca. And before we begin, I want you to know that you are in safe hands. So my guest today is Becca Goldsberry. She is an executive level sales and leadership coach with Southwestern Consulting. Her mission is to help others see their greatest potential and pursue their dreams and fulfill their ultimate potential in life. She coaches businesses, leaders, sales professionals to increase their income, improve their time management skills, and overcome challenges in order to sweeten their success by inspiring them to live a life of excellence, joy, and freedom. So, Becca, good to see you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me on today. I'm super excited to be here.
I am too. I can totally relate. Before we began this podcast, we had a little conversation about what people are really struggling with right now. And I could totally relate to all of those things that you mentioned. So in your view, as you work with quite a few leaders, business owners, what do you think are the key challenges that people are really facing right now?
Well, there's a few that I've really been talking to with a lot of my coaching clients lately, especially here in the month, this fall in October, November timeframe. And one is their time management right now. With holidays coming on at the end of the year, it's Q4. They're trying to end the year strong, helping their, hit those goals that they set in the beginning of the year. And their time management is all over the place. I had one client, he told me, he goes, I've had to miss 3 of my son's football games because I was running behind because our meetings weren't ending on time and people just kept piling things on and I couldn't leave the office in time. He goes, and he was a senior. I missed senior night. I think time management is one of those things that so many leaders and professionals are struggling with and just trying to find that true balance. And I think the other big thing right now is how do we keep growing in the market that we currently have now? Everybody throws around that word recession. Everybody is throwing the word around slowing things down. But how do businesses and how do leaders and owners and entrepreneurs, how do we keep growing the team? How do we keep growing business and really just keep pushing forward? So for me right now and my coaching clients, we're seeing really 2 big key things right now.
I find that with business and life, it's a constant balance, right? If it's not one thing, then there's another thing that's constantly pulling, right? Whether it's your team or your personal needs or, requirements of the business, it needs to grow. It needs more revenue. It needs more resources. So it's like a constant, push and pull, and you got to figure out where to place yourself first.
Absolutely. And I think that's what's a lot of leaders are struggling with now. For a while there, for a few years, they're like, okay, well, we can pour in additional resources and programs and systems and all of these things. But now they've had to pull that back, right? So there's the tug of pulling that back and holding on to the cash reserves
Yeah.
because we don't know what's going to be happening with the economy.
Yeah.
So you're right. There is a lot of pull and tug right now and just trying to find that balance for so many businesses and leaders.
Mm. Tell me a little bit more about yourself and as far as like what you do and how you manage your own business or time.
Yeah. So I work with Southwestern Consulting. I am one of 175 coaches worldwide. We are in 18 different countries, I believe, and coach people in 32 different countries around the world. So a lot of your audience, we can definitely be working with them. But what we do is we do one-on-one sales coaching. We do one-on-one leadership coaching and executive level coaching. No matter what industry you're coming from, level that you're at, we can definitely help you. One, on average, our clients are increasing their income and production 46%. I don't know what company doesn't want to grow 46%. We're helping people with their balance, their time management, that crazy schedule that just keeps tugging on us. How do we find balance and feel good about accomplishing the things that we need to, but then also having time for our family, our friends, the things that we love to do in life, and then helping companies and leaders and salespeople create amazing systems and processes so they feel they're getting things done and that altogether amazing to-do list that we all have, things get done and that it just doesn't keep growing and growing. Actually, things get done in a systematic way to be more efficient and effective. So that's one area that we help clients. And the other is we work with companies coming in as experts and doing trainings. There's about 100 different topics that we come in, whether it's working with the leaders and doing leadership labs, or if you have a sales team that needs a sales kickoff, goal setting, create days. There's so many different ways that we can come in, partner with companies, and just lead and facilitate trainings online or in person to work through things that your company is struggling with currently.
What would you say is one of your most fulfilling parts of the work that you do?
There's two big parts that I absolutely love. One is working with my clients, my coaching clients, and I actually coach one-on-one. And we meet twice a month. And I love just helping them dissect, right? And really dig into their business. And all right, what are they really needing to work on to take their business to the next level? Or what are the things that they're working on personally? I have a client I'm currently working on, and he leads a pretty big team, but he also has several children. A couple of them are teenagers. And he goes, I need to be better at communicating and I need to be better at understanding. So we're working through how to navigate the four different types of personalities, right? And working and leading four different personalities. And all of his children have different personalities. So how do I be a parent with my kids and communicate with my kids? And so we're also working on that EQ, that emotional intelligence, and working on the listening skills and all of those things. So not only do we just help like in the business things, but the things that we work with our clients really help them. I've coached clients who were potentially heading towards divorce. And just by learning how to communicate, how to listen, it's amazing how much better their relationship got and saved their marriage. So we're not necessarily life coaches, but we're teaching those tangible techniques and things just that can help life all the way around. So that's one of my favorite.
Amazing. I feel like when you have one area of your life out of balance, then every other area falls to bits as well.
Amen. And I just did this. So I personally have a coach too, right? So I think if you're a coach, you need a coach as well because you need to live with integrity. And for my coach and what we do with some of our coaching clients, we have something called the ideal wheel and we have them fill this out. And there's several different areas of our life, right? We've got physical, spiritual area of our life, mental, financial, career, social, family, and you rate yourself in all of these different things. and you average it out and see like, okay, where do I need to improve? Do I need to start working out more? Do I need to be more involved in the community? Right. So you're really deep diving. And you're right. If there's one area that is out of whack, life just seems out of control. And we hear it a lot. So
What would you say are your best tips for time management for busy leaders or entrepreneurs?
I always tell people and everybody has always heard Stephen Covey's rocks, pebbles, and sand analogy. Everybody's typically heard that. I always tell people, along with that, the key thing, and everybody knows time blocking, and you got to time block, certain areas. But I always tell people, okay, what are the two most important things you need to do daily to move your business forward? And put that in your schedule every day and don't move it. If you can do those two things every day consistently, and that's the key. If people don't do things consistently, it's not done well. So whether you're in sales and you're like, I know I need to make more prospecting calls, well, set an hour or so, or 2 hours or 3 hours, however long you need to make those prospecting calls and get it done every single day. If you're a leader, it might be, I need to set regular personal conferences with my management team and do that on a consistent basis. But every person's different. So whatever those two most important things are to grow your business, or that you need to keep growing your business, put those in the calendar and stick to them. Like don't skip it. Because if you skip it, then we're falling into really bad habits. So stick with those two things and stick to it consistently. Another big thing I've always followed through is, a lot of people have read the book, Eat the Frog. So do the hard thing first. Like if you've got to have these crucial conversations with people, or conversations with clients that you really don't want to do it the first thing in the morning, get it done with, because otherwise you're going to be thinking about it all day and you're going to be distracted all day. So let's do the hard things first, and then do the two things every day that you need to do to grow business. To me, those are the two biggest things.
Absolutely. I think it makes such a difference when you get big things off your list. You feel like the rest is easy, right? Like for me, if I face my biggest challenge first thing in the morning, I feel like I'm flying, right? For the rest of the day, I was like, I got all of that done. So now give me more. Give me something else to conquer.
And the day seems to go faster too. I don't know about you, but the day just like flies by. Like you do the hard thing first, and like the rest of the day, you're like, where'd it go? It's the end.
Yeah.
You're done with work. You're like, where'd the day go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we started to implement this thing in our business where we set, and the whole team, we put our projects and priorities out into our main forum where the team hangs out. And this Monday, I was so overwhelmed with so much to do. I was like, there's no way I can even put this whole list, because like, people are going to think I'm mad. There's so much on my to-do list. And it's kind of my normal standard operation, because I do have a lot of things on my plate, but I'm able to manage it. And I've waited, I think, 2 or 3 days until Wednesday to publish my to-do list, until it was halfway through. Because I was like, and then it all just seemed like, well, I've conquered the biggest things. I've delegated. And that's the thing, like when you have so much on your plate, don't feel like you have to do it alone. And that's where, when I looked at my list, it's like, okay, this is not for me to do. This is delegate, take it off my list. And all of a sudden it was so manageable. But it's when we think that we have to carry the whole load, or we hold on to things that should not be done by us. My team always challenges me to say, what can we take it off your plate? What can we take off your plate? Like, I don't even want to let go of that.
Absolutely. Well, I was going to say, most people have a hard time delegating. And it's typically, I can do it better, faster, quicker than they can. I don't have time to train them on how to do it. But really, there's something called 30X. And as long as we take time to be able to train somebody, the return on time invested at the end it's going to be so much more. It's going to save you so much more time in the end if you just train people on how to do something and just get it off your plate. As leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, we do not need to be doing probably at least 70% of what we're doing in our business. You're right. Delegate it off. Get it off your plate.
Yeah. What I
Don't.
really love is also knowing that I have support, knowing that
Mm,
I have that support. But what I love is to hire experts in particular things. So I don't have to rely on one person to do everything just the way I do it, because I recognize that not everybody functions like me. I like to always hire experts. Like, you're really good at building sales pages, or you're really good at managing my podcast, or you're really good at writing copy. And just give that one person the entire ownership of that
yeah.
particular thing, because I know they're the best at that skill. And for me, it always just works the best.
I know I couldn't live without my assistant, Leslie, who helps me with so many tedious things that it is not my expertise. It's not my foray. It's not what I'm good at. And then Fabio, who's my social media guy. Without those two people, I would just be lost probably. So I agree with you. Hire the best and take it off your plate because you're going to get so much more done.
So I know as leaders, we feel like we've got this. And I know we've got this. I mean, we wouldn't have come such a long way and become so successful unless we didn't have our own back. But there comes a time when you got to ask for help. And I know a lot of people struggle asking for help, especially when you get to a certain level of success. Asking for help feels like, oh, actually, I don't have it. I ain't got it. What do you say to people who perhaps trying to keep it all on their plate and refusing to ask for help?
That is such a great question. And I get it quite a bit, especially when I'm talking with people about hiring a coach for them in their business. I get it so often, especially from those who've been in the business 15, 20, 30, 35 years. And I always tell people, I have a client, I've been working with her almost 8 years now, and she's a financial advisor. And Lynn is phenomenal. She was actually very upset when she got into coaching because she's like, I don't have time for this. I've been doing this for a long time. But then as we started working together within the first, month or two, she goes, this is the best thing I ever did. She goes, because I want to retire. And so now she is almost 76. She's still in coaching. She's still a financial advisor. She's doing very well. And the funny part is she was ready to retire probably at 70, 72, ready to sell her business, ready to go. But she found her passion again. She found the passion of helping her clients and was starting to have fun back in her business. And now just recently, she's like, okay, can we start thinking about how to sell my book of business here in the next year or two? She goes, I think I'm really ready this time. So I always tell people about Lynn because, again, did she need a coach? Yes, but she didn't think so. And what it has brought to her, not just financially, but personally, just to be able to talk through somebody on, hey, what should my next steps be? How do I keep this going? Finding the passion again and helping our clients.
Mm.
I always tell people Lynn's story. And I'm like, even if you're the best of the best, because I think you and I even talked about it before we started the podcast today, the best of the best always have coaches, whether it's Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Steve Jobs, all of those, Oprah Winfrey, they all, even Metallica, if you're a fan of Metallica, they've all had business coaches, right? So all the best of the best always have a coach. And I don't understand why people aren't open to getting advice and having somebody be in your corner and being that outside perspective of helping you grow. I think it's just important. Everybody needs a coach. I tell everybody needs a coach and everybody needs a therapist. Those are there are two people in life that, can help you get through everything and anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just knowing where you need that support and knowing when is the right time. So a year and a half ago, I got pregnant, and it was such a pivotal point in a woman's career. I would say it's a pivotal point. And for me, I never thought that I could manage being a mom and running my business. But it was almost like that switch that happened in that moment. The moment I found out that I was pregnant, I made a decision to scale my business. And that was the point where I said, okay, not only do I need to bring in the right operational people into my business, but I also, as a leader, need to have guidance and support in how to do it. Because there's one way of doing something entrepreneurial way, and there's another way when you're trying to grow and scale operations that needs the right processes and systems. And therefore, I hired a consultant who helped me map out the pieces of the puzzle for growth and scale, like how to recruit people, how to determine the operations and management and who I needed to give me support. Of course, I could have made those decisions. Ultimately, it was me making those decisions. But I think having that guidance from an outside perspective, or even just a sounding board, was incredibly valuable. I mean, I didn't learn anything completely new, but it's just having someone there in that process was super, super helpful.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I had my son Thad when I turned 40. So and he turned 6 on Sunday. And for me, that was a thing in my business too, just like you. It's like one of those things like, okay, game on, let's go, right? Like, how do we keep growing? And that's when I got to coach myself and really it's like, okay, how do I scale this? How do I do this? How do I be better? Not for me, but now how do I be better for Thaddeus? Without outside support, somebody else helping me think outside the box, I'd probably still be stuck back where I was. So I think having that mentor, that consultant, that coach, whoever that might be, they can help you propel forward. You just got to
It's
listen.
so underestimated. I mean, there was a time when I'd taken a break from coaching. I just felt really exhausted by, I think, just a whole industry, really, and observing what's going on. But I think it's a game changer when you find the right person who gets it or comes in just right at the right time. And it's a game changer. It's a complete game changer.
Absolutely. And I always believe in the deepest of my soul and heart that coaches, mentor, consultants, they really just want to help serve you, help you get where you want to be. So take advantage of their offerings because you'll be surprised what happens when you do.
Absolutely. So, Becca, if people wanted to get in touch with you or have a conversation with you, what would be the best ways to do that?
The best way to do that is you can go to my website. It's www.becca, Becca, Goldsberry, Goldsberry, SWC.com. So you can check my website out there and reach out to me. And then I'm on all the socials too. LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. I've got a YouTube channel where you can catch my podcast as well, and Facebook. So you can find me and reach out, message me, and I would love to hear from you.
Amazing. What's the name of your podcast?
Talk with Coach is the name of the podcast. And I'm also on Spotify. So
Nice. What do you cover on your podcast?
right now I'm talking to a lot of women in business, how they're growing their businesses, challenges, how they overcome obstacles, and the way that they have found themselves in their growth. But I talk with a lot of leaders. I've had CPAs on to talk about the different types of businesses and some of the tax things, because here in the US, they're changing the way we do taxes and different things too. And I just had Pooja on, and Pooja shared with us a little bit how there are similarities between her religion and culture and the Indian culture here in the US to our Thanksgiving and Christmases and Diwali with them. So we have covered so many different amazing topics just to help people grow, not just personally, but professionally as well.
I love that. Any last parting thoughts for our audience before we close out for today?
My last thought for everybody is do it scared. It's okay to ask for help and just believe in yourself, have confidence in yourself, and remember you are enough.
Powerful. So important to have that reminder and know that, look, whatever life challenges you may face, that you've got this and you can ask for help and you can have support. And it's not a reflection of you. Sometimes it's circumstances that just throws things at us. And I sure know what that feels like.
Absolutely. I think we all do.
Yeah. Well, thanks to our guest today, Becca, who was here to share her wisdom and insights. And if you feel inspired by the conversation today, make sure you follow all the links in the show notes and reach out to Becca if you want to have conversation. Of course, Becca is going to be a speaker at the Women Thrive Summit, which is our annual women empowerment event of the year. And it happens 17th to 21st of March in 2025. So make sure you head over to womenthrivesummit.com and register for your spot. We have amazing speakers lined up for this event and it's virtual, so you can join from anywhere in the world. I also want to say that Women Thrive Podcast has been rated as a top 5% podcast. And I want to say thank you to our listeners. You have helped us get here by tapping into our podcast, by leaving your reviews, and sharing it with others. So your support is greatly appreciated. And that allows us to bring on more amazing guests and even improve our production for you, our listeners. So thank you all so much for being here. And we look forward to seeing you on another episode. Thank you, Becca. See you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Women Thrive Podcast. If you found today's episode empowering and inspiring, be sure to subscribe and follow us. Better yet, leave a review and share it with others. We're committed to bringing you more stories that will empower and inspire you on your own journey. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep pursuing your dreams.